Vasudeva Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Namo Pankajanaphaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangriye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devakinandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Nand Govindaya Namo Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Girim Yat Kripatam Ham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Granth Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 5, entitled The Demigod's Appeal to Lord for Protection. Umesh Prabhu, you know why the demigods are approaching the Lord for protection? What happened?
As they were in the trouble, and that is why they went to the Lord.
Or something is not. Oh, sorry, my speaker was on mute. Please go ahead.
Yeah, they were in the trouble, and they went to the Lord Brahma, and then Lord Brahma and all the demigods. Now they are basically praying, and they want to approach the Lord Vishnu.
Nice. Pune Mataji, what was the trouble to the demigods? What went wrong? Do you know that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, sorry, I missed class yesterday and day before.
That's okay. It's okay.
Not
correct. Who all
correct.
know this answer? Let's raise your hand if you know this answer.
See, the Prabhu.
Yeah, I asked to raise hand.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to see who all know this answer. So Mesh Prabhu knows, Kashish Mataji knows. Bipul Prabhu, you know this answer? Okay, question again. Some of you joined a little late. The chapter is titled Demigods Approached Lord for Protection. The question is, what was wrong? Why did they approach Rama for help, or what did they do wrong? Who know this answer? No? Vipul Prabhu? No. Rakesh Prabhu? You know? No, you don't know. Ramohan Prabhu? You know? You don't know. Okay. Okay, Raghu Prabhu will tell us.
Okay. From what I remember, Lord Indra was on an elephant, and there was a Muni, I don't recall the name, and he gave him a garland, and instead of wearing the garland was intended for Lord Indra. Instead of wearing the garland, he put it on the elephant. As a result, the Muni felt insulted, the sage felt insulted, and then he cursed. And from what I can remember, then all the demigods and others were in some kind of a distress. So they had to appeal. Then they went to Lord Brahma to appeal to Lord Brahma. And he said that he didn't have the the power, we have to go to the ultimate power, ultimate authority. And so they went to the Supreme Lord, Lord Hari, and he was in, I think he was in Śveta-dīpa, which is surrounded by ocean of milk. I could be wrong on these factors. On these
No,
factors.
very nice.
But
She
something
said
like
very
that.
nice. Very nice. So yes, so Durvasa Muni gave garland to Indra. It was the Mahaprasad. Durvasa Muni keeps traveling to different planets. So he gave, that's called Nirmalya. When something is offered to the deities, whether it is flowers, tulasi, incense, lamps, etc. After that, it's called Nirmalya. So we should treat it with lot of respect and honor. But Indra just gave it to, hey, I get a lot of garlands. What's the big deal? Gave it to this elephant. Elephant, dull-headed generally. Of course, Airavat is not an ordinary elephant. His whole pastime is to teach a lot of lessons. He just trampled over it, and Durvasa Muni, being the partial incarnation of Rudra, got very angry and said, you will lose all your power. On that very time, the demons attacked and Indra lost all the power. As a result, they went to demigods. The Brahma prayed. They all came to Śveta-dīpa and they are praying this. So what we are reading is prayers of Lord Brahma. It's important to sometimes ask those questions. What am I reading, and why are the demigods praying? Right? So let's start today's reading with this background. Text number 43. And I hope you'll remember this line. Prasidatam na samahavibhuti dravyam vayaha karma gunan vishesham yad yogamaya vihitan vadanti yad durvibhavyam prabuddha padhapabadham prasiditamna samahavibhutihi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. All learned men say that 5 elements, eternal time, the fruitive activities, the 3 modes of material nature, and the varieties produced by these modes are all creations of Yogamaya. This material world is therefore extremely difficult to understand, but those who are highly learned have rejected it. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is controller of everything, be pleased with us. Purport: the word Durvibhavyam is very important in this verse. No one can understand how everything is happening in this material world by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through his material energies, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Mayadhyakshena prakritehi suyate sacharacharam. Everything is actually happening under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This much we can learn, but how is it happening is extremely difficult to understand. We cannot even understand how the affairs within our body are systematically taking place. The body is a small universe, and since we cannot understand how things are happening in the small universe, how can we understand the affairs of the bigger universe? Actually, this universe is very difficult to understand. Yet learned sages have advised, as Kṛṣṇa has also advised, that this material world is dukhalayam ashashvatam. In other words, it is a place of misery and temporality. One must give up this world and go back home, back to Godhead, back to the personality of Godhead. Materialists may argue, if this material world and its affairs are impossible to understand, how can we reject it? The answer is provided by the word prabuddha pabadham. We have to reject this material world because it is rejected by those who are learned in Vedic wisdom. Even though we cannot understand what this material world is, we should be ready to reject it in accordance with the advice of learned persons, especially the advice of Kṛṣṇa says, the advice of Kṛṣṇa. Kṛṣṇa says, Mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gataha. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. Bhagavad Gita 8.15. One has to return home, back to Godhead, for this is the highest perfection of life. To go back to Godhead means to reject this material world. Although we cannot understand the functions of this material world and whether it is good for us or bad for us, in accordance with the advice of the Supreme Personality, Supreme Authority, we must reject it and go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. So, who are speaking this verse? Lord Brahma, accompanied with the other demigods, Indra, Chandra, etc. So, here, the point is that ultimately the Yoga Maya Shakti and the Maya Shakti, which is very extremely difficult, the material world is therefore extremely difficult to understand. Isn't it difficult? We all can feel that. Now, little corona is happening. No one can understand why is this corona happening and what is the root cause and how can we fix it. People all over the world are trying to figure out the solution. But this corona or that corona, if we figure out solution to this, do we think that we'll be free from, everyone will be very, very happy, joyful, blissful, no problems, no death, no nothing? No. Everything will just change a different form. So, we should, rather than trying to make this material world a happy place, what are we doing that? If we are doing that, we are changing, we are playing with God. Because God himself, the manufacturer, who is the Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has stamped this place as Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Twice in Bhagavad Gita. Anityam Asukham. Same words twice are used. Dukhalayam Ashashvatam and Anityam Asukham. So what does that mean? It's temporary and it's a place of misery. So Dukh Ale. Ale means home. Like Chhatralaya is a place of students, like a hostel. Madiralaya is like a bar, alcohol shop. And Pustakalaya, place for pustak or library. Similarly, Dukh Alay means place of misery. We all want happiness. How can we find happiness in the place of misery? It's like trying to find New Delhi in the map of New York. Will we ever find New Delhi in the map of New York? No, because it does not exist there. We have to search and refer to the right map. Similarly, trying to find happiness in this world is like, no matter how optimistic one may be, no matter how talented one may be, but if one is referring to the wrong map, one cannot find it there. So we have to refer to the right map. Material world is illusion. Like the fruit is up, hanging there. We are seeing the mango in the illusion or the lake. Urdhva Moolam Adha Shaka. We'll not find it there because that's the verdict of Supreme Lord and great souls. So rather than trying to change it, we should understand it and try to follow it. That real happy, even in Bible it is said, don't build your kingdom here, build your kingdom in the kingdom of God. So many places, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, everywhere. And even with if one is sensible, rational, and honest to oneself, one will understand that yes, this world is not a place to no, to build my real thing. Because after all, so many problems, adi bhautik, adi daivik, adi atmik, and I don't live forever. No matter how much wealth one may accumulate, what will happen? So one should reasonably think, what am I accumulating this wealth for? What is real wealth? Will I take that with me? What will I take with me? Will I take my degrees with me? So rather, that does not mean, of course, this world is saying reject the material world. Rejecting the material world is, in one sense, to not feel that material things will give us happiness. Rather, we have to use those things in the service of the Lord and not be attached. That does not mean we give up our job, family, husband, wife, children, etc. Rather, we try to understand that this will not give me real happiness. Rather, I should use it for the service of the Lord. That will give real happiness. So, and after completing our business year, let's do activities which will take me back home, back to God. That's the advice of Lord Kṛṣṇa. That's the advice of great souls. And anyone who follows it is happy. Otherwise, we'll keep Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, keep moving. Any other comments? Any questions, additions anyone has? Okay, Vishal Prabhu has joined after a long time, so we're happy to see you, Prabhu. Would you like to read text 44?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, dear devotees. Namostustasma upashanta shakte swaraja labha pratipuru tatmane guneshu maya rachiteshu pritibir na sajamanaya nabhasvad ute. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is completely silent, free from endeavor, and completely satisfied by his own achievements. He is not attached to the activities of the material world through his senses. Indeed, in performing his pastimes in this material world, he is just like the unattached air. Should I continue to read the purport, Prabhu? Okay. We can simply understand that behind the activities of material nature is the Supreme Lord, by whose indications everything takes place, although we cannot see him. Even without seeing him, we should offer him a respectful obeisances. We should know that he is complete. Everything is done systematically by his energies. Parasya saktir vividhava shruyate. And therefore, he has nothing to do. Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. As indicated here by the word upashanta shakte, his different energies act, but although he sets these energies in action, he himself has nothing to do. He is not attached to anything, for he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So again, some adjectives are used here to glorify the Supreme Lord. He's completely silent and free from endeavor. It's not that, okay, in the material world, let's say if someone has to do something, whether earning money or, even if it is cleaning the home, one has to work hard, going to the job or getting some education. One has to go to do some studies in college. It takes 25 years to complete college and all that stuff. But Krishna, he desires and everything happens. How does it happen? Through his different energies. We can see even in the material world, a big person who has power does not really, do things much. He is busy, let's say some owner of a big company. He's just busy playing golf or having fun with his family. How are all his factories, how are all his companies running? Through different agents, correct? Through different energies of his. So he'll have general managers and CEOs and everyone managing the show. But he is busy playing with his family. He will not even go visit the company. Maybe once in a blue moon. Maybe once in day of Brahma. Kṛṣṇa comes and just make sure everyone is doing rightly. And then he tells, and ordinary people mistake him. Oh, is he God? Is he our boss? Then yeah, he has to tell, like Brahma Vimona Leela, Govardhan Leela, I'm the real boss. And you are all working under me. And then he goes back again, playing golf, doing Nitya Leela and back home, back to God. Of course, he's always present. But this is just some kind of analogy to understand this whole topic, that he is detached, is completely renounced. One of the opulence of the Supreme Lord is ultimate renunciation. And like the unattached air. So air is not attached. This example is given multiple times. If that air carries the aroma, but the air itself does not have aroma. It passes over rose garden of roses, it will carry that aroma. It will pass over garden of lilies, it will carry that aroma, etc. But the air still remains unattached. So the point is, the Supreme Lord is not attached to anything. So we should also, even in performing his pastimes, he's like the aroma. And so many times we have seen this while performing his pastimes, that he'll show his complete detachment and the opulence of renunciation as well. So in short, everything is running under his direction, his energies, different energies, so many different energies. That is what the demigods and Lord Brahma are glorifying, the Supreme Personality, the detached Lord. Any other comments, any questions? Okay, who would like to read text 45? Please raise your hand if you have not read throughout this week and you really want to read.
All right, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Text 45. Hare Krishna devotees. Text 45. Sattvam no darshyatmanam asmat karana gocharam prapannanam didrikshunam sasmitam te mukhambujam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are surrendered unto you, yet we wish to see you. Please make your original form and smiling lotus face visible to our eyes and appreciable to our other senses. Purport. The devotees are always eager to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his original form, with his smiling lotus-like face. They are not interested in experiencing the impersonal form. The Lord has both impersonal and personal features. The impersonalists have no idea of the personal features of the Lord. But Lord Brahma and the members of his disciplic succession want to see the Lord in his personal form. Without a personal form, there can be no question of a smiling face, which is clearly indicated here by the words Sasmitam te mukhambujam. Those who are in the Vaishnava Sampradaya of Brahma always wants to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are eager to realize the Lord's personal features, not the impersonal features. As clearly stated here, Asmat Karana Gocharam. The personal features of the Lord can be
can be directly perceived by our senses. Thank you, Prabhuji. Back to you.
What did you understand here, Prabhu?
I understood that as a devotee, if you are in right sampradaya, and all the devotees who is in this path always wanted to see the Lord, his personal form, his instead of impersonal form, and also the scriptures are clearly explaining. So, and also that is our mode. The mode should be, we should always thinking Lord personal form, face, smiling face. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. So we can learn this last line here. Sasmitan. Smita. You heard this word Smita before? Smita Krishna Das, smiling Krishna, servant of smiling Krishna. Susmita Shri Mukhena. This comes. Smita means smiling. So Sasmita te Mukhambujam. Ambuja means lotus. Ambu means water, Ja means birth. One who is born in water. Another name of lotus. Mukha means face. Mukhambujam. So when we understand the meanings of the words individually, it helps really to remember better, and it goes deeper. So Sasmitan te Mukhambujam. Another line, another verse in Bhagavatam, it says Susmita Shri Mukhi. Jayati Janani Vaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvar Parishad Sverdor Bhirasyanna Dharma Sthirachara Vrijakna Susmita Shri Mukhena Vrajapura Vanitana Vardhayan Kamadevam. It's very nice verse. I believe in Canto 11, I think. Canto 10, chapter 11. So, Lord's smiling face. Now, devotees want to see the personal form of the Lord. Till these 32 onward verses, 32 to 44, the discussion is about primarily the universal form of the Lord. And in Canto 1, universal form, sometimes Prabhupada relates as the impersonal form. But when Arjuna also was shown the universal form, Arjuna was quite scared. He said, Lord, I want to see your personal form, two-handed form, the smiling Shyam Sundar form. So the devotees, especially Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, as Prabhupada is mentioning here, they we don't, because sometimes people say this pantheism thing, this word, everything is God. God is nature, mountain is God, rivers are God, God is love, you are God, I am God, he is God, she is God, oh, the stone is God, oh, sun is also God, oh, wind is also God. But they miss the essence. So, if one just feels all these things are God without understanding the God as a personal, it's like not understanding the whole thing. It's incomplete understanding. Here we studied, yes, earth, water, moon, fire, etc. are different aspects of God's energies. But as devotees, we address Kṛṣṇa in this personal form. We like to see the deity darshan in his personal, Tribhanga, Lalita, Shyama Sundara. And we address Kṛṣṇa by the personal names, Murlidhara, Govinda, Gopala, Radha Vallabha, Radha Shyama Sundara, Yashoda Nandana, Damodara, Giridhari. We don't say God, we don't say much, like, oh, he's inconceivable. Prabhupada didn't name International Society for God Consciousness. Prabhupada named International Society for Kṛṣṇa Consciousness because on the name of God, there is so much confusion. If you ask anyone in the world, hey, do you know about how to, if the finger gets infected with some let's say ringworm, can you help that person fix it? Almost 99% people will say, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what's this ringworm thing. So I don't know. Better you go to a doctor. So a doctor who knows about this, and not every doctor will tell also. The doctor who is specialized in that field will tell how to operate that, and she can probably do that. So for this one tiny finger, we don't have enough knowledge. But you ask anyone in this world, hey, do you know about God? No one will say, I don't know. Please ask the right person. Someone will say, there is no God. Someone will say, God is everyone. Someone will say, he is God. Someone will say, she is God. Someone will say, God is great. Someone will say, God is love. Someone will say, I think everyone is God. Someone will say, God is within. Someone will say, God is nowhere. Someone will say, rivers are God. Nature is God. My child, I see God in him. Oh, my mother, I see God there. No one will say, I don't know. Please ask the right person. So, we need to understand this properly. God in his different aspects. And the topmost realization is the personal realization. The Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So, the Bhagavan, the personal aspect of the Lord, is the complete understanding. We are not denying that ultimately everything is God's energy. But let's say, Vishal Prabhu, if I call you, hey man, come here. That's correct, right? It's not incorrect to say that. But it's very, very impersonal way of calling you, correct? If I say, a beautiful young guy with black shirt and curly hairs, can I talk to you? How do you like that? That's much better, right? So that's personal way. And if I call you with your name, if I call you, hey, elder brother of Karina, right? By your brother's name, or you're the grandson of Ram Mohan Prabhu, okay? Yadukula Parishad swear. So then everyone feels happy. Oh, so devotee should desire to see the personal form of the Lord and call Krishna by personal names. Any other comments? Any questions, additions? Okay, who is inspired to read next verse 46? Anyone? Any Matajis want to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I can read.
Yes, please.
Text 46. Tais te sva icha bhute rupe kale kale swayam vibhu karma durvishaham yanno bhavam karotihi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, by your sweet will, you appear in various incarnations, millennium after millennium, and act wonderfully, performing uncommon activities that would be impossible for us. Purport. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata apyuttanam adharmasya tadaptanam srijami aham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I dissent myself. Thus it is not imagination, but a fact that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by His sweet will, appears in different incarnations such as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Ramachandra, Balarama, Buddha, and many other forms. Devotees are always eager to see one of the Lord's innumerable forms. It is said that just as no one can count how many waves there are in the sea, no one can count the forms of the Lord. This does not mean, however, that anyone can claim to be a form of the Lord and be acceptable as an incarnation. The incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be accepted in terms of the description found in the Shastras. Lord Brahma is eager to see the incarnation of the Lord, or the original source of all incarnation. He is not eager to see an impostor. The incarnation's activities are proof of his identity. All the incarnations described in the Shastras act wonderfully. Keshavadrata Meena Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare. It is only by the personal sweet will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he appears and disappears, and only fortunate devotees can expect to see him face to face. Back to you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
You want to share something on this verse, Mataji?
So what I understand is that, Prabhuji, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he appears in various incarnations by his own sweet will. And when he comes, he does so many uncommon activities that nobody else can do. So in the purport, Prabhupada says that Kṛṣṇa says to Arjun that when there is a decline in the religious practice, or when there is an predominant rise of irreligion, I dissent myself, Arjuna. So Kṛṣṇa says that he is dissenting himself. So it's by his own will, and Prabhupada says his sweet will. And there are various incarnations from Matsya to Buddha, we know. And devotees are very eager to see these incarnations. Devotees are not very much interested in the impersonal Brahman. We want to see him personally, coming in a different forms and doing various activities. And now others, like apart from Supreme Personality of Godhead, others cannot say that I am also a God or avatar, because God descends or becomes an avatar based on strict descriptions that are found in the Shastras. So when others are claiming that I'm an avatar, it will not match with the Shastra. So we haven't proof there. That those are already being predicted in the Shastras before the avatars are taking place. And finally, Prabhupada is telling that a God appears and disappears as per his personal will, and only fortunate devotees can see him face to face. So very nice purport, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, you explained so nicely. It's very nice way you summed up all the points. Thank you so much for sharing. I really don't have anything else. Any other comments, any questions anyone has around this verse?
Yeah, I have just one question. Incarnations of Parshuram and Balarama. So will those be? I'm not familiar with it. That's why I'm asking. The story behind must be stories behind it.
Oh yes, yes. Long story. Well, Balramji is elder brother, son of Rohini, the seventh child, was transferred from the womb of Devaki and to Rohini. So he's the elder brother. We say Kṛṣṇa Balaram. You may have seen deities in Alacho also. Kṛṣṇa Balaram deities on the rightmost deities. Krishna in Alacho. So he's the elder brother of Krishna. Always serving Krishna in multiple rasas. And Parshuram is the warrior incarnation who destroyed the Kshatriya Kula. How many times? 11 times? Or was that 12 times? 11 times. Who completely destroyed the generations of Kshatriya.
I think 21.
21, yeah, 21 generations. And of course, there is meeting of Lord Ram and Parshuram in Ramayana, where the Shiv Dhanush was broken. So there's a wonderful exchange there. The son of Jamdagni was a father of Parshuram.
Jamadagni,
Jamdagni and
Renuka.
Renuka. Yeah, Prabhuji remembers that for sure. You can't forget that. For those who don't know, Sudhir Prabhu's wife's name is Renuka Mataji. So therefore he remembers that very nicely. So that's a brief discussion. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. No, I didn't know that Balaram was the same Balaram. I knew who Balaram is, but I didn't know this incarnation was the same.
Yes. And these are not all the incarnations. These are like some of the incarnations. Krishna has unlimited incarnations. Unlimited. These are just some of those.
Right. Thank you.
Anything else before we move on? Okay, we'll read one more verse for today and we'll pause then. Would someone like to read, please? Text number. Yes,
I can.
Ji Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all the assembled devotees. Klesha bhuryalpasarini karmani vifalani va dehinam vishayartanam nathataivarpitam tvayi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Karmis are always anxious to accumulate wealth for their sense gratification, but for that purpose they must work very hard. Yet, even though they work hard, the results are not satisfying. Indeed, sometimes their work results only in frustration. But devotees who have dedicated their lives to the service of the Lord can achieve substantial results without working very hard. These results exceed the devotees' expectations. Purport. We can practically see how the devotees who have dedicated their lives for the service of the Lord in the Krishna conscious movement are getting immense opportunities for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without working very hard. The Krishna consciousness movement actually started with only 40 rupees, but now it has more than 40 crores worth of property, and all these opulence has been achieved within 8 or 10 years. No karmi can expect to improve his business so swiftly, and besides that, whatever a karmi acquires is temporary and sometimes frustrating. In Krishna consciousness, however, everything is encouraging and improving. The Krishna consciousness movement is not very popular with the karmis because this movement recommends that one refrain from illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. These are restrictions that karmis very much dislike. Nonetheless, in the presence of so many enemies, this movement is progressing, going forward without impediments. If the devotees continue to spread this movement, dedicating life and soul to the lotus feet of Krishna, no one will be able to check it. The movement will go forward without limits. Chant Hare Krishna. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Please tell your thoughts from this verse.
A very beautiful verse, and Prabhupada has given a very deep purport here, saying how a devotee's needs will be satisfied by the Lord beyond his expectations. So, and Prabhupada is giving a similarity between any business movement and that would have been started with just a meager investment of 40 rupees and how it would grow, and comparing it with the Krishna consciousness movement, which has spread all over the world and is worth a lot of material property. But I felt that Prabhupada is making this comparison only for those karmis, but the real work is towards the Krishna consciousness, the service that Krishna conscious, the people all over the world should should know about the Lord, about Krishna, and follow this movement. And because of that, the movement has spread far and wide. And Prabhupada also makes an important point about the four regulative principles. That's the basis of the movement. No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. So that is the basis of the movement. And because of that, the purity, and the movement has spread far and wide. But the karmis, they don't like these restrictions. Yes, Prabhuji. So glorification of the Lord and chanting Lord's names will take us beyond the material expectations to the spiritual world. That's the thought that's coming to me, Prabhuji. Thank you. And Prabhuji, I could not be there in the call yesterday to wish you on your birthday. So my sincere wishes and prayers that you and your family are healthy and are continuously dedicated to this great service of spreading the Bhakti Yoga to all, one and all around you. I have not personally met you any time, but I'm very thankful to Vamsi Vilas Prabhu for introducing me to this group. And from then on, I have been as regular as I could be. And my kids, Shreya and Srihari, are especially very much like you. They had their sessions of yoga with you in the Bhakti Sangha Japa group summer camp. So they also sang a small birthday song for you, and so I have forwarded it to you in the WhatsApp. So so please keep us in your prayers. So thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Have a blessed life, Prabhuji, and keep spreading the auspiciousness to all of us too. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
To spread, Mataji. It's just this whole group thing is just to so I can read Bhagavatam. That was the only agenda for this whole thing. The rest all is Krishna's arrangement. But yes, I did hear your message and I personally reply. There were so many messages, so I'm sorry for the delay. But thank you so much for your blessings, prayers, and to your children as well. I'm so grateful. So very nicely you explained this verse so nicely. So this is very, very important, dear Vaishnavas. Let's try to understand. What does klesha mean? Okay, raise your hand if you know the word klesha without seeing, just from your past knowledge. Yes, Vipul Prabhu.
Klesha means hardworking, that makes sweat.
Hardships, klesha, hard work, hardships. Okay, bhuri. Bhuri. Yes, Vipul Prabhu.
A lot.
Okay, alpa. Everyone knows this word alpa? Sudhir Prabhu. Alpahari.
Little, Prabhuji.
Little. Sudhir Prabhu is alpahari, so he knows. Sarani. Sar, essence, is referred as good result. So, what is there with material karmani? The people who are attached to materialistic life. Klesha is a lot. And good result is very, very little. Klesha bhuri alpasarani. Karmani vifalani va. Safal means successful. All the karmas, what do they lead to? Vifal, unsuccessful, frustration in this life. Dehinam, whose of people, Vishaya Artanam, who are eager to enjoy Vishay Bhog, those who are eager to enjoy the pleasures derived from the senses, Vishay, and the sense pleasures to enjoy this material world, what happens to them? All the activities result in frustration. Their karmas result in frustration. And do they have to do hard work? Yes. Little? No. A lot. Karmani klesha bhuri bhuri klesha. Alpasarani karmani. And the good result is very, very little. Okay, what about the devotees? So the last line says that na tatha. So this does not happen to those whom eva arpitam tvai. Tvai refers to unto you, my God. Those who have taken shelter, arpita. Arpit means to give or who have dedicated, pran samarpan. Those who have dedicated themselves, like Srila Prabhupada, who's giving his own example, like 40 rupees and now 40 crores, now 4,000 of crores actually, temples all over the world. Aside from 40 rupees. So, na tathaiva arpitam tvai. Those who take shelter of Lord, that means what happens to them? Klesha is alpa. Little hard work. And sarani, good result is bhuri bhuri good result. Aho bhagyam. Bhuri bhuri. They get good fortune. They get everything the best because ultimately they go back home, back to Godhead. And all their activities become successful. Why? Because they take shelter of the Lord. So it's a very nice words, and the words are also not that difficult. So the essence is, if we take shelter of the Lord, then all our attempts in the life will be successful. What does that mean? That ultimately we'll go back home, back to Godhead. That's real success. What is a success? What is the barometer of success in life? Not how much degrees we get, not how much money we get, not how much number of cars we get, but how much we attach ourselves to Kṛṣṇa. At the end of our life, we go back home, back to. That's the real success of life. So, otherwise, material world, prakriti sthane, karshati, very lot of struggle. And result is very little. But in bhakti, neya vikrama nashaste pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam. Again, that word alpa comes. Swalpam apiyase dharmasya trayate meheto bhayat. Even little progress on this path can save one from the greatest dangers. Ishvara swabhaver bhakte na lai aparadha alpa seva bahumani atma prayanta prasad. Little service, again alpa word comes there. Alpa seva bahumani. Little service he considers a lot. In the material world, you do lot of hard work. Your boss will say, hey, you just done this much on me. I was hoping you'll do something great. Right? Happens. Or you do so much hard work, so much planning, and then someone says, well, I thought you would do something better. But Kṛṣṇa, you gave some little leaf. He said, wow, you gave a little leaf. I'll give myself to you. Tulasi dala matrena jalasya chulukenava chulubarpani vikrinete som atmanam bhaktebhyo bhakta vatsala. So much he loves his devotees, he gives. He can say, you have given me so much. My most dear Tulsi Maharani, I'll sell myself to you. Today we were reading that bhajan. Amari kiniya lo balo gaurahari. I am willing to sell myself. Nityananda Ram is saying, buy me, but you chant Harina. So that shows the magnanimity of the Lord. That in bhakti we have nothing to lose. In material worlds we have everything to lose. And ultimately we lose everything, no matter what may happen. So, intelligent person does the needful with the material world, but spends in building his real assets, bhakti bank balance. Any other comments, questions before we end? Okay, so we will pause here and continue tomorrow. And guess what? Tomorrow
Hare
is
Krishna,
the
Prabhu.
quiz day also. So don't forget about the 8.3, 8.4. Yes, Radhika Mataji, saying something.
Prabhu.
Please, yeah. Radhika Mataji, you wanted to speak something? Okay, looks like somehow something is not going right. But anyways, you can message on the group or personally message me if there's anything, or you can bring it up tomorrow as well. We will pause here. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hari Bol.
Hare Bol.